Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back for chapter 2 of Hatchet. Again, at the bottom on every PowerPoint, I'll include the link there, just in case you didn't download it or save it to your desktop and you need to look at it every time. But I'll always have the link there and then on the next slide for the layout. So let's look, chapter 2. Okay, so just a reminder, each chapter is going to be read during office hours, and you'll know the dates for the week at the beginning of the week on which days we're going to read which chapters. And again, if you're unable to make a meeting or you miss a meeting, that's why you can use the link below to catch up on the reading, because that link does have the entire PDF of the book on there, because we know we don't have the book at home. After each chapter, you'll have a written response to answer afterwards. You'll also have vocab words to work with for 3 chapters at a time. And either use your notebook or a piece of paper, and remember to keep them in a folder so we don't get them unorganized. And then, like I said before, and this chapter specifically is going to have an extra activity. So every chapter will have a written response and vocab to work on. But you'll see in chapter 2, there's an additional activity that you're going to do on top of doing the written response and the vocab. And then after the next chapter, chapter 3, you'll have a 10-question quiz to answer, and we'll talk more about that when we get to chapter 3. Okay. If you haven't read chapter 2 yet, you missed the meeting or whatever it is, please make sure that you go and read it on the PDF version and catch up on it so that you can do the assignments here. So the written response question for today is, or assignment is, after reading the first two chapters, make a prediction about what you believe will happen by the end of the novel. So we've only read the first 2 chapters, but I want you to try to make your best prediction on what you think is going to happen by the end. Explain specifically what you think is going to happen and then how it's going to happen. So what do you think is going to happen with Brian? What is he going to do? What's he going to encounter? What do you think is going to happen by the end? Again, the directions below say copy down the questions and respond. In this written response, I want your answer to be at least 10 sentences or more. And always should be in complete sentences. Make sure you use text evidence based on what we already know from the book, from the first 2 chapters, and then go ahead and continue on from there. Again, you can use that PDF, go back and look at the chapters if you need to. So the vocab for today, for chapter 1, you should have written down these 6 vocab words and looked up the definitions for them, so we should already have the definitions written down. So for today's task for your vocabulary, you're going to use each word in a sentence. And I put this nice little phrase here, be sure it's not a simple sentence. And you know I used to always say this in class, that I want the sentences to have a lot of meat to them. I want them to be more complex sentences, not just a simple 4 or 5 word sentence. Make it a more complex sentence to show that you understand the meaning of the word itself. Okay, and this is your 3rd task for today. So you have 3 assignments when it comes to chapter 2, and this is practicing our reading strategy of visualization. So for chapter 2, after reading it, draw a picture of the part of the chapter that you were able to visualize. Draw that picture of what you saw or visualized in your head, and then underneath your drawing, explain what the picture was, what the picture is, and what part of the chapter. So right here, you can see an example that I did for you. I drew a picture of a plane flying over the mountains, and I wrote underneath my little explanation of it, and I said, when Brian had to take control of the plane and it was going up and down, I pictured the plane in the air with the mountains and trees everywhere as he panicked about what to do next. So based on chapter 2, you can do any part of chapter 2 that you visualize in your head while it was being read to you or while you read it on your own. So just so you have an understanding of the assignments you have for chapter 2 today, you have your written response, which is the predictions from chapter 1 and 2 about what you think is going to happen in the end. You have your vocabulary definitions, which you should have already had done, but today you need to write down your 6 sentences using those 6 vocab words. And then the last part of your assignment for chapter 2 is to write, to draw that visualization of what you pictured in chapter 2, and then write underneath what part of the book that was from. Okay? Always message me or contact me with any questions you have about your assignments or the novel study, and I'll see you guys for chapter 3.